In July of 2024, Charlie, aka Moistcritikal, went from talking about controversies to being at the center of one himself. It appeared he performed so badly at a debate with Sneako that he essentially retired from the internet. One badly screenshotted announcement was all it took to whip fans into a frenzy off the back what was a pretty much Charlie versus Sneako debate part 2.
Completely understood. So he made the announcement just letting people know that, and then that got spun on Twitter and Reddit as Moistcritikal's taking an indefinite hiatus and quitting the internet fundamentally. Don't know when I'll be back. He's done with the internet because of all this controversy. Patooey on his grave. He's gone. When looking at the post, I don't even know where that's coming from. It's literally just talking about the podcast and me just stepping away. Like, it doesn't extend beyond that. I can't even wrap my tiny noodle around how anyone could perceive this as me being done with the internet entirely, but
before we move into that, it's important to remember part 1. Because of the history between Sneako and Charlie, it is important to understand a lot of the craziness that happened in July. Things got way too personal. Their paths first crossed when Charlie would call out the cast of the Fresh and Fit podcast, accusing them of lying about their sexual encounters and being disrespectful to women. Sneako, being Sneako and of course good friends with the Fresh and Fit podcast, jumped to respond to Moistcritikal in defense of the guys. The response itself was just an unplanned rant on a stream full of deflections. But Sneako would take things a bit too far when he showed a picture of Charlie's girlfriend live on stream.
This is his girl. So there you go. I mean, I told you, like, I could hear it in your voice. The fact that someone doesn't have to abide by those rules. Someone could go and f*** a lot of bitches. That it's so foreign to a lot of people's ideas, because when you get brainwashed, when you get told that monogamy is the answer and you need to go and be married and just settle down with some girl, when you hear other people talking about stories like this, you're like, there's no way it's true.
That was really what would motivate Charlie to make a response. In Charlie's response to Sneako, he dropped a bombshell about Sneako defending the Netflix movie Cuties in the past, a movie that was universally criticized for sexualizing children.
A movie called Cuties. For those that don't know, Cuties was a movie that went to Netflix, and it was basically just softcore child. It was a movie that focused on twerking and a coming-of-age film that used real children in real positions of, like, sexualization, where during, like, a twerking contest, they'd have cameras that would go, like, right into their ass, and I made a whole video talking about how f***ed up it is that not only does it exist, but Netflix has promoted it and it's on their service. Regardless of what the intention was or what the message aimed to deliver from the director, it completely missed the mark by using real child actors, and I made a video talking about how gross that whole situation was, and Sneako made a response to it saying that the outrage around this film is misplaced and it's actually a good movie.
Americans are like, this is deplorable. I saw this commentator, Penguinz0, who I actually like. There's not a lot of good commentators, but he's like, this movie is deplorable. There's nothing good about it. There's nothing. And it's like he didn't even watch the movie. It's just like he only saw the clips that were gonna piss him off. Or he just got so triggered by the provocative imagery that he just, deplorable. Come on, man.
Then, to completely own Sneako, Charlie wrapped up his video by referencing the time when he admitted to being cucked by his girlfriend, and as a defense, tried to sell it off as a good thing when he was clearly uncomfortable with the whole experience. Charlie didn't miss a single opportunity to make fun of him about it.
His more recent viral clips where he openly defends getting cucked.
So I wanted to break this down, like, because this was, imagine seeing the girl you love, like, get yeah, I do. I love it. Yeah, I love her. I was about to say I love this bitch. I'm like, no, let me not say that. I love my wifey, my queen.
And you allowed the love of your life to get by another man.
What happened to the other three?
I'm crazy. The first time, as soon as I saw it, like 3 pumps in, I just got up and walked out. I'm just like, I can't do that. Like, feeling traumatic thoughts, like seeing her with another person. It's a lot. But I think it's something everybody should do just to test. I know. You know what?
It is a legitimately super sad thing to sit there and listen to, because Sneako is very clearly bothered by that whole situation, but is trying to play it off like a deeper message, like, no, this is actually a good thing, and in fact, I recommend every guy out there try letting their girl get by another man. Then you'll know if it's real, if this is the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. It is tragic to listen to.
This was a pretty big moment in the beef, as Sneako getting cucked by his girlfriend was probably the first thing people talked about whenever his name was mentioned for months after that video. This is exactly why over the next couple of months, Sneako would continue to beef with Charlie on Twitter when he would take another massive L with this famous Charlie tweet reading, "Holy you pathetic, sensitive soy little worm. I made fun of you for watching your girlfriend get by numerous other men and also insulted you for defending child. That's not cancellation. That's just spitting on you for being a pitiful, sad cuck." And this is where it really started to feel like Sneako was going off the rails. Things would get pretty unhinged with Sneako going on stream to wave a gun on camera, threatening Charlie with his clips. In response, Charlie would have that legendary moment where he brought out his own equipment to explain to Sneako that he's got the energy to match.
And I'm sorry to be that guy, this is like the grammar police of guns, but he's a imbecile, you absolute buffoon. What you have there is not clips. These are mags. They're mags, not clips, you absolute me. The same way that this is also a mag. They're all mags. Stop saying clips, you look stupid here.
And the only thing Sneako had in response was claiming he could beat Charlie in a fight. But at this point, the beef had developed into a cold war with no direct responses from Charlie. That is, of course, until very recently. In the middle of all these creators being exposed as predators in 2024, Charlie and the entire YouTube commentary space has had their hands full covering all the controversy, including us. In June, it was Doc Disrespect who was found out, and Charlie made a video criticizing the doc for the disgusting behavior and, in the same breath, mentions that there's still people out there defending him.
But Doc himself has never said that that was a possibility. He'd never even hinted that he didn't know the person's age, and the people closest to him aren't saying that either. So I really think that it's likely that he did know that, and he still had these conversations that lean to being inappropriate with someone he knew to be disgusting. Now, there are people still defending this, saying, well, he didn't go to jail for it, so what's the big deal? Can't wait for the next stream, Doc. Firm handshakes. Like, there's people that are just dismissing this as not a big deal, which is insanity. I think that is pure lunacy.
The people he's referring to there are none other than Sneako. He defended Dr. Disrespect both in tweets and on stream in response to Pokimane.
Most of them are teenagers. Most of them are underage. It doesn't even matter to them because Twitch is 13 plus. So they're okay if you're 13 years old edging to Pokimane all day. But if Dr. Disrespect texts a girl who's 17 years old, 11 months, 364 days, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, he's the worst person ever. Why?
It's important to note that the specific age of the minor with whom Dr. Disrespect interacted with was never confirmed. He's only saying that to make his position sound more reasonable, as he said before that he doesn't believe in the age of consent. So by the time the Ava Chris Tyson situation came out, Sneako was already putting pressure on content creators, especially Pokimane, to cover the topic with the same energy that they did for Dr. Disrespect. His point of argument was that they wouldn't because the doc is a straight white male and Chris Tyson is a transgendered female. It started with this tweet here. I promise you, no content creator is gonna disavow Chris from Mr. Beast like they did Dr. Disrespect. Chris went a step further and actually met with the minor. And then, just one day later, repeating again. All these influencers that called Dr. Disrespect a horrible person better keep the same energy for Chris Tyson. And because he felt like he was on a hot streak at this moment, he came after Charlie too.
Yo, look out, Moistcritikal is not gonna go talk about the Chris situation because he wants to have the Mr. Beast collab. Bro, you're gonna talk about every other trending situation, Dr. Disrespect, Sneako, anything that goes viral goes on your main channel. Chris, the associate of the biggest YouTube channel in the world, you do a 4-minute clip on your second channel. Stop coping and be a journalist if you're gonna be a journalist, or just say that you wanna have the collab. Stop lying.
This clip went viral, forcing Moistcritikal to respond to it on Twitter saying, wish people would actually bother checking if I've talked about something. I talked about it last night on stream while it was all unfolding and posted a short edit from the discussion so even brain-rotted idiots can watch the full thing and see how horrible it is. I will also be making a full video on it as well, which I said too. I'm honestly shocked Sneako isn't defending all of this, considering he's been arguing against the age of consent for a while now. Sneako still responded to this, claiming that if Charlie doesn't make a video about it on his main channel, then he's a hypocrite, ignoring the fact that Charlie already said that he would make one in the initial response. Less than 24 hours later, Charlie made a video covering the situation on his main channel and addressed the criticism about him taking more time to respond to the situation than he did with Dr. Disrespect.
So I talked about it immediately, but Twitter didn't see that video, and the ones that did wrote it off as, oh, he's only going to put this on his second channel because he's afraid to put it on his main channel. He didn't do that for Dr. Disrespect. He was like that with Dr. Disrespect. You are provably wrong. All you had to do was activate a few neurons in your noodle. Check my Dr. Disrespect video. I posted it at, I think it was 9 p.m. on June 22nd. June 22nd is when my Dr. Disrespect video went up. The allegation against Dr. Disrespect was on June 21st. So what happened is, that allegation came out. I talked about it on stream. Dr. Disrespect made a statement as well the same day that I talked about on stream. Then the following day, almost a full 24 hours later, I made the video talking about it. And in this situation, it is the exact same timeline. I was talking about it as everything was unfolding. I even had a video go up on the second channel going over everything that was coming out, and now I'm making the full video about it 24 hours later. It's the exact same speed and same energy as the Dr. Disrespect situation.
In addition to that, he calls out Sneako once again and addresses him directly on his stance on the age of consent.
Do you think something is developed in it? What stage of development? Because there's a lot of
it varies.
Development.
It varies. I don't
it varies.
Think
it varies on the what?
I think it varies on the age.
It varies on the age.
It depends on where you are.
You need to have set ages for that. There are stages of development. As a child, an adolescent,
you can hear him start to snivel in the background there as he's sucking up snot from his nose, getting cooked, and his brain is overheating, malfunctioning, trying to formulate some kind of response to the easiest question in the world about what he thinks the age of consent should be. He keeps talking about the age of development and then can't even put a number on it. So everyone, please feel free to ask Sneako what he thinks the age of consent should be if you want to see a human being glitch out and malfunction like an Oblivion NPC. Can't answer the most basic question in the world. That is concerning. You realize how deranged that makes you look, Sneako? That makes you look like an actual danger to society, that you don't agree with the age of consent and try and argue around it. That's what every pedophile ever that Chris Hansen talked to would do.
So as usual, Charlie at this point was pretty much dragging Sneako all around and embarrassing him on his positions. But all of that was about to change when Charlie decided to take a call with Sneako to discuss his position on the age of consent. It was in this debate that Charlie would do a really bad job defending what many people see as the correct and normal position. Throughout the debate, Sneako basically argues for the abolishment of the age of consent, even though he admits himself that he can't picture being with a 16 or 15-year-old kid.
He then claims that even having an age of consent encourages premarital somehow. So Charlie says, okay, would you marry a kid?
Okay, so then instead of let's take it away from like premarital, would you feel comfortable marrying a 16-year-old? Like, would you meet a 16-year-old with romantic intent if you're in Europe and maybe marry a 16-year-old? Nothing sexual.
I probably wouldn't personally, because I don't think that I'd be on the same mental playing field. I like to have intellectual conversations. I like to be with women that are around my same age.
Which is important to point out because Sneako himself understands why a 15 or 16-year-old would be too mentally and intellectually immature for a person of his age, but still thinks other people should be able to do it. Regardless of Sneako's controversial position, however, Charlie starts to lose ground in the debate when Sneako starts catching him in his traps.
This age, the brains don't develop until they're 25. Your frontal cortex is not fully developed until you're 25 years old. A lot of people aren't making serious money. They're not able to live independently. A lot of things that you could use to classify an adult don't happen for the new age American until 25 years old. So if Kamala Harris raised it to 25, would you then say that that's the new age? Would you agree with that?
I think that'd be totally understandable. Like,
right,
I think that's fine.
So then does that make anybody who sleeps with an under 25-year-old, does that now make them a pedophile?
No, I don't think necessarily that makes them retroactive.
So then what's a pedophile?
But it's an accepted
That was a big step back for Charlie. He definitely wanted to defend the age of consent as a specific number rather than just whatever the government said it was. But the big mistake that came out of this interaction from Charlie was when he said that a child should be able to consent to gender change and hormone therapy.
Do you believe that somebody can go through hormone therapy? Can they change their gender if they're a child?
I think that's totally fine as long as everyone is consenting, as you agree with.
At the end of the day, it was Charlie who came out of this debate looking worse because he had a much better reputation than Sneako going into it. Charlie then tried to immediately correct what he said during the debate, stating that he was misled in the conversation.
You can get therapy, you can go through the process of making that decision. I thought that's what it was. I thought he was just speaking in hyperbole with the cutting off. I thought that's what we were talking about. And then if you decide that's the path you want to take, it is your body, you can do that. You can make that decision once you become of age to make a decision like that. I just don't understand how it got so muddled. Half of the conversation was hyperbole, and apparently that one was literal. Or it's a very malicious attack on what I'm trying to say or a misunderstanding. I don't know. I don't know.
In the aftermath of all this, given Charlie's refusal to upload the debate on his channel or even talk about it on stream when it was all his chat was talking about, led fans to believe that the whole ordeal had really gotten to him mentally. So while that was happening, an announcement via Patreon coming out from his podcast that Charlie was going on an indefinite hiatus did not help. The screenshotted post read, "Effective immediately, Charlie has made the decision to leave both the official podcast and Red Thread. He wants to go on an indefinite hiatus to scale back his time spent on the internet. We obviously wish him the best, for everyone to respect his decision, and for all to know that the show will always be open for him to drop by and talk shop, should he wish to return." Due to this announcement coming out after Charlie had lost the debate to Sneako, everyone took that to mean that he was leaving the internet entirely to take a break. As it turns out, the screenshot that went viral was only a cropped section of the entire statement, and Charlie was not in fact quitting the internet, which he addressed in a video.
It turns out the patient zero behind all of this was a post Jackson made announcing that I would be leaving the podcasts, which is something I thought about periodically for quite a few months now, mainly because I started to recognize that I was becoming the very thing I'd make fun of with being chronically online. Like, I just was always online, and the podcasts were a big proponent of that, and I just kind of wanted to scale back the amount of time I spend online, and I kept Jackson in the loop the whole time here about where my head was at, and last week I told him, hey man, I think this is going to be where I hang up the jersey, you can put it in the rafters, throw it in the dumpster, but I think I'm just going to be, sailing off into the sunset here and just reducing the amount of stuff I do online. Which he completely understood, so he made the announcement just letting people know that, and then that got spun on Twitter and Reddit as Moistcritikal's taking an indefinite hiatus and quitting the internet fundamentally. When looking at the post, I don't even know where that's coming from. It's literally just talking about the podcast and me just stepping away. I can't even wrap my tiny noodle around how anyone could perceive this as me being done with the internet entirely, but that's the story that they ran with, and that's what most people saw, not the actual post.
So at the end of the day, it was a lot of fuss about nothing. Charlie also corrected his statement about a child being able to consent to surgery, confirming that it really was a misunderstanding. But the whole thing was basically a Sneako versus Moistcritikal Part 2, and neither of them is retiring off the internet anytime soon.